and like they don't have sex. They have they wear
Oh yeah, the neural
VR
transmitters, VR things. Yeah.
Whoa, what's this? Back in my day, I used to just bone. Now I gotta fucking now I gotta bone you through this fucking headset.
Now I gotta
What's
think
this
about
shit?
it. No, I don't want to think
Now I
about it.
gotta think about how I bone you. Back in my day, just roll over, just get to work.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the RRBG podcast, and welcome back to Skinner. It's been a few years, man. How you been?
Been pretty good. Lots of stuff has happened
I
since we
see.
chatted. Yeah.
Lots of
Yeah, I'm doing good,
things.
man. Yeah, working on my projects and uh paying attention to the way the wind blows, I guess, and
So you're gonna start doing
enjoying my
Marvel comics, movies, commission pieces.
oh no, probably not, but I have been brainstorming about my friend Blake Anderson, who's that comedian actor from Workaholics. I was talking to him the other day, and and to me he looks like this character from the 90s called Nomad, which I don't
Oh,
remember if you collected comics in the 90s,
yes.
but I was like, oh, maybe I'll work with some friends and we'll make like a Grindhouse trailer for a 90s Marvel hero that everybody's sort of forgotten. And nobody liked Nomad really. It was, I don't know, like, but that was the time of like Ghost Rider and Morbius.
Mm.
Everything, remember in the 90s how everything was like extreme and dark and tough and
Oh yeah,
brooding.
Lobo. I remember Lobo being.
Lobo, yeah,
Yeah.
Lobo was badass. Like everything was badass, man. It was like Mountain Dew badass shit. And yeah, so I just think that would be funny, but to do that. But no, I just been working on Shrine of Abominations. I think which is a stop motion horror film that you could check out on my Kickstarter. There's 6 days left. I don't know if this podcast will go up in time, but
I'll drop it
regardless,
soon.
it's cool. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think last time I talked to you, I was probably started working on the commercials that I was doing for Adult Swim with my friend Ross,
Mm.
who's the stop motion guy. And so those commercials were like the testing ground to see if, you know, we were professional enough to do more than just like 10-second long, station identification bumps for Adult Swim. Because there's a lot of leeway there, they kind of like it if it's weird, if it looks weird or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But then like, yeah, so we've been working on Shrine of Abominations, stop motion horror fantasy stuff, like during like right before the pandemic. I had volunteered some time to assist Phil Tippett for his movie Mad God. Like I would ride my bike. His studio is not that far from my house. So I would ride my bike down there on the weekends. And basically it was like me and a bunch of like young intern people. And they would, help, but they were all on it, they'd get on his nerves and stuff because he's sort of directing this thing. So he'd be like, no, over here, move it over there, move this, move the lights over there. And I was just enjoying the whole experience. So I'm just like smiling and sort of like, wow, man, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm helping. But I left after a while because I was like, these intern people, this is sort of like very important to them, I think. And to me, I was just, I don't know, just sort of enjoying the experience or whatever, and not really,
Right.
I wasn't like, hope this leads to something in my future. So I was like, well, I don't want to take up a bunch of space from these people. And And these like young kids who are,
Bright-eyed and
getting,
bushy-tailed.
yeah, they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I was like, I'll let them be. But it was funny because you know, Phil is a kind of an enigma and a very he's culturally significant. And it's interesting now that I think about it, is like the darkness of the 90s really, I don't know, like Paul Verhoeven, RoboCop, and Starship Troopers, there's like a cynicism that was starting to arise. It was like, hey, everything sort of sucks, like I don't know, there's a suckiness that is emerging here. And RoboCop was a cynical a cynical take on fascism, and like Starship Troopers was like an entire satire around fascism. And um interestingly enough is that like Phil, being the stop motion guy, it's like Ray Harryhausen really reflected the times too. There was a kind of an optimism and like a I don't know, kind of a explorative naivete, I guess, to what Ray Harryhausen did, because his films were really about the joy of otherworldliness.
Mm.
And it was like a kind of a kind escapism there. It wasn't very threatening. Um, and then Phil is sort of the heir apparent to Ray Harryhausen. He really embodied that sort of dark, brooding, cynicism and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting, like now that I think about it. I think there's no film that really embodies the sort of dark future of RoboCop in a way. It's kind of like the perfect film,
RoboCop,
in
you
that
think is a
sense.
perfect film?
I think it's a perfect film in the sense of like 90s cynical
I mean, it still holds up.
apocalypse.
I saw it recently with my
Oh, yeah.
wife. She had never seen it, and it's like, well, we have to.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
What
There's a
did she
few.
think?
She liked it. There's a few movies that I've shown her that she wasn't a fan of, like the Demolition Man. I think she kind of liked it, but it was, it was a little bit. It's a little bit past its time. But RoboCop definitely
Demolition
holds
Man
up.
is funny as hell. It's like super funny. I feel like Sylvester Stallone is all like perpetually a man out of time.
Oh yeah.
Like, what all this stuff, man? What, you guys just eat Taco Bell? Like, whoa, this is crazy, man.
I
But
relate. I
it's
relate
sort of,
to that. I relate to that.
yeah. Back in my day, we used to we'd eat the Taco Bell and it would be in the toilet 5 minutes later, man. What's all this? Like, you guys,
Yeah. What's with the three
yeah,
seashells? What's going on here?
yeah, totally.
The three
Yeah,
seashells. What's
I
this?
listened to some I listened to somebody do a they were talking about it, like that movie. They were kind of breaking it down about like how in the future, everybody's sort of goofy and soft and joyful and just greeting each other happily and all this stuff. And it's like maybe one of the only versions of film where like a dystopia is not an apocalypse, but an example of, like, what do they say, like passive participation.
Homogenization of the society, maybe, like
Yeah.
because there's no bad
Yes,
words.
homogenization. Yep, no bad words. Everything is clean. Everything is like
Social distancing. They don't
mellow.
do high fives. They do the weird waving in front of each other thing.
Yeah, there's only one restaurant, and like they don't have sex. They wear
Oh yeah, the neural
VR.
transmitters, VR things. Yeah.
Whoa, what's this? Back in my day, I used to just bone. Now I gotta fucking now I gotta bone you through this fucking headset.
Now I gotta
What's
think
this
about
shit?
it. No, I don't want to think
Now I
about it.
gotta think about how I bone you. Back in my day, just roll over, just get to work.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
So
that
yeah,
movie though. My theory
I
on the
mean
three
it is.
seashells. My theory on the three seashells is that it's actually settings on a bidet. So like one of them,
Oh,
that's my theory. You push it down, it's like hard, soft, or medium.
dude, I have you ever you've used a bidet before?
Yes, I bought the
Dude, the
weird
other
tushy
day,
spa thing that every podcast was pushing on everybody.
right, tush what is it
My
called? Zero
tushy or tushy spa
my
or what?
tush. Yeah. So the other day I went in to get a massage. It was on my birthday and they do that cupping thing, And
Oh,
so
dude. Ooh.
I was getting that and I went in the bathroom to go pee to go pee. I saw I saw the bidet thing and I was all, oh, that's a bidet. Like I've never really seen it. And then I was all, oh, let me turn up. How does this work? And then I like twisted the dial and then it just like shot water right onto my my dick.
It peed on you instead of you
It,
peeing on
it
it.
well, my pants were up, but it sprayed my pants and like made it look like I pissed like all over my pants. And I was all, oh hell yeah, that's tight. But it was, and I was like, man, and I was thinking like, okay, and of course, like the person who's massaging me is just like, you know, not an it is like, kind of a beautiful woman. And I was like, well, that's nice, but she's gonna look at me like, oh, who's this homeless, this piss man? Who's this addict, this piss addict? He came in here to pee on himself. So I was like kind of like hiding it. I was like, oh, yeah, just making small talk and stuff, and my
What, you
jacket.
pull your shirt down to cover the stain, or
I had my
like
jacket, I had my little sweater in front of it, and I was like, all right, like,
there was no hand dryer in the bathroom? You couldn't put the crotch up against it.
oh, dude, that would have probably just done something else, like cook, cook my pants or something. But anyway, but it was fine. She left. I got away with it, and it was fine. But like, I'll tell you that I swear to God that my life is just a series of stuff like that happening, and it's like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I feel like my life just continuously is like embarrassing moments that like I I feel like I'm just trying to hide it. I'm trying to hide it from other
You're
people.
hiding your shame. You're
Well,
hiding
this happened, well, okay. But like, if I was like young and cool, it would probably bother me. But the fact that I'm just sort of like wandering the earth like a freak mutant, I'm like, this is fine. It's okay.
Yeah, you're
Go,
lean
go
lean
for it.
into it. Lean
Go,
into
yeah,
it.
I'm leaning in. I'm leaning in. So yeah, that's cool, man. I like to lean in this shit, but
Yeah, man. The bidet thing was, I had used one when I was little. I think my parents had one at one point, but
what in America?
yeah, dude, in New Jersey,
Because I heard that America's behind the times with
like
bidet.
theirs was separate. So like there was a toilet and there was a bidet, and you had to you
Oh,
sat on it and then cleaned yourself after you sat on the toilet. It was weird. I remember hating it, but when I grew up,
oh, you didn't
I got
like
my own. I got my little tushy spa thing, and because of the podcast, like I said, they convinced me. They're like, it's good for your butthole, and I'm like, I'm getting old, and maybe it's important to take care of my butthole,
that?
as you get older. But
Right, right. Yeah, just wait. So the idea is that it just sprays your ass for
it
a
sprays
long
your
time
butt.
until
You have to position yourself,
your
so
actual hole.
the hole itself, and it just shoots into the hole.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to like clench so it doesn't go in there. But you clench it
Oh,
like
you
just
don't want it to go in.
it's like a pressure washer in the sidewalk. You're pressure washing your asshole, making
But
sure.
you think it's strong enough to like, you think it's strong enough to get the shit off
Oh,
like
it's
all the
too
way.
strong, dude. I have to tone it down sometimes. This tushy spa thing, I have to. It hurts
Oh,
sometimes.
really?
Like, oh fuck.
Oh, wow, really? That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's like the
yeah.
fire hose.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
it's
that's
seriously like
okay.
pressure washing. Like, it's a hard spray. So I stopped using it though because it was actually hurting too much. I'm like, this is too much. I don't need all this. I
Oh,
could just wipe.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's good to know. Maybe I'll get one and I'll check
Look,
that
the few
out.
times that I've used it, I afterwards, you have to get a towel. You have to have a butt towel,
Oh, okay. So you continue to have a towel thing.
You have a little butt towel that you dry it, you pat it dry, you know what I mean? Once you're
Oh,
done.
yeah.
So you're not
Okay.
like leaking into your underwear and shit.
Oh, right. You don't want to. Okay. 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 This makes sense. Good.
Yeah. And when you wipe, you could look, and if you see, poop on your towel, you fucked up. You had to go a little longer.
Oh, right. Very unfortunate. Ooh. Well, I
uh,
actually am not feeling like this is all like a very, I mean, I'm against, toilet paper, throwing it away, and it's wasteful.
Actually, I just remembered why they convinced me to get one. It was the pandemic, because there was that whole rush where people were freaking out that there was not going to be any toilet paper. I'm like, well, what if I don't need it? What if I find a way to not need toilet paper just in case? And that's why I got it.
Yeah. I mean, that was a weird thing to freak out about. It was strange.
People buying boxes of it at Costco, sold out everywhere, just hoarding toilet paper. I'm like, if you just buy a normal amount, you'll be fine. We have enough supply. It's just,
Yeah. What was that about?
dude, that was a weird time.
I
I
mean,
know
yeah.
a lot of people, like the artists that I know, spent it creating, like yourself, I would say. But a lot of other people just spent it going crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it it was like I remember having this feeling. I remember like early on during the pandemic, I was like, you know, I feel like I've spent a lot of my life like kind of waiting for something terrible to happen,
Okay.
and like just kind of feeling like it won't matter, and nothing I do will matter because something terrible will come and destroy it and destroy my life. And I was like, oh yeah, this is like leftover feelings from my childhood, where I just felt like no matter like how hard I tried or what I did, it never made my, material reality better. Like if I got straight A's, if I was a good kid, if I was the best at sports, if I was like a really good artist, right? It just never, like I felt like I was spinning my wheels. But
Mm.
the problem was that I was looking for an external source of happiness. I was looking for like my parents to be like, you know what, it's going to be okay. You're good. Let me tell you, we love you. You're great. And that may have come in like them saying, hey, we love you, kid, like kind of shit. But like I never really felt like I was like shown that I could not, that I was allowed to not have time to worry about stuff. So I felt like I started to like really fetishize and fantasize about the apocalypse and the end times and doom and the slow grinding end of all things and all this shit. And when the pandemic came, what was really interesting was I felt like relief.
Like you
I
were
was,
right. You were right the whole time.
yeah, I was like, see, this is what I'm saying. Because there's no leader in the world who has an ounce of the emotional maturity that it would take to make me feel like there is an adult in the room. There's like an adult in the room who's going to take care of us, who's going to take care of me, who's going to make the right decisions that have nothing to do with them getting rich or their greed or whatever. So I had this like weird joy that I wasn't sharing very much. I wasn't like telling people like, man, I'm feeling fucking good, dude. I'm glad this shit is over. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of pretending like everything isn't garbage, like
Yeah.
this, like, and so what was it what was interesting is I was like, I was really like without anxiety and anticipatory anxiety for the first time in like maybe my entire life. Like and I was like, this is, so I started to really examine, why is it that I like this? And I started to really think, because a lot of people were like, I would say like maybe well-adjusted people who had built a life that they really liked, who were like really sad about this. And so I had compassion for that, and sympathy for where they, how they were impacted by the events. But I think that I started to really enjoy that the world was slow, that I could take time to do things I wanted to do, and that I could just kind of like lay around and eat pie and and I was just like, this is cool because, my work ethic was something that I had developed for a long time, but I had never really stopped to think about kind of like the crushing impacts of the competitive nature of capitalism and how it kind of trains us to kind of spin our wheels all the time and make shit and do this and post that and do here and go there and do this shit. And so I was like, why am I doing anything? So I started really like tripping out, like, why do I do anything?
Mm.
And I realized that just like the struggle to feel like I would be okay in this world and that I would be held by the universe and feel safe, that was an external element. That was like something that never I never got stability or enforcement from my parents to let me know that it was going to be okay. Like everything's going to be okay. And then I was like, well, a lot of my career seems to be predicated on my desire to sustain external validation and external acceptance and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I'm doing a lot of shit where I'm like living my life, at the behest of the outside world. What the fuck is this all about? This is weird. And I noticed I was extremely sad and affected when, I would pitch a show to, Adult Swim or, whatever, like any programs, and I have all these interviews and show pitches and all this stuff. And it never really went anywhere, and then I was doing the music videos, and then, essentially the budgets dry up for that too. It's like even Metallica hits me up and I'm like, the budget they want to give me to make a video is just like not one where I feel like I could do my best work. So I can't do it. And I don't want to do anything unless it's the best ever,
Mm.
for myself. So I just started realizing like, well, I'm living my world on others terms. I'm living my life on others terms. I'm living every day in anticipation that somebody or some institution will come along and tell me that I'm good or special or that I deserve support and love and monetary support and all this stuff. And that is a very dangerous way to live because you're basically stopping yourself from just living a life you want. So, I just decided to start making comics. So I started writing down all my stories and writing all my stuff and making comics and then writing short stories and then doing all the illustrations for that and then uh pushing all my energy into doing projects I want to do, like writing scripts for films, coming up with concepts, collaborating with people. Like, and none of this has anything to do with pitching or trying to convince somebody to give me money or whatever. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this stuff and then I'm going to do a Kickstarter and I'm going to make it happen. And it's going to be really hard work and it's going to be a big struggle for me. But at the end of the day, it's in my own hands and I'm in charge of if something fails or doesn't. And I'm not putting my fate in the hands of another person. And when you put your fate in the hands of another person, it's like throwing it in the trash or something because you don't know. You could be pitching a show to somebody and that show getting made could, you know, could be based on is that person in a good mood that day? Like, did they have like
Mm-hmm.
good coffee that morning and they're feeling good? Then your project might get picked up. Who knows? Like, if they are feeling in a bad mood or something, like, you know what I mean? It's like you
Yeah.
don't know what the elements of how decisions are being made for or against you at any moment. So you might as well just get in on your own boat and start rowing that some bitch,
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so that's what I did. And so like Shrine of Abominations, been working on it for about 6 years.
Oof.
This film, I've been working on a video game with this other guy for like 4 years. And
Nice.
then we're pitching that to like video game companies. And I, have like,
Is it stop motion as well?
no, the video game is basically like sort of like Golden Axe.
Okay.
It's all badass like that. It's like Golden Axe meets Ghosts and Goblins, sort of,
Oh, right up
Yeah.
my alley. Okay.
Yeah. It's 32-bit, I think. But like Andy Gregg, the guy that I've been working on it with, we met working on this Red Fang video.
Mm.
And I was like, hey man, let's make something. And the I've been working on another like script movie that I'm gonna make called Dungeon Crawl with my friend Philip, who is a script writer. He did like the scripts for Love, Death, and Robots, and
Nice.
he wrote your Europa Report and did Spine of Night on Shutter and all this stuff. So we've been working on that, and but I'm essentially though, to loop it back to the kind of emotional, I don't know if like the psychological emotional impacts of the pandemic on me. What I realized was that when the pandemic started to open up, I was like bummed. I did not. I was like, it was like so many emails again. It was
Yeah.
like all this shit, and I'm like, dude, this sucks. And so I just I didn't I don't know. I kind of I feel like I did not ultimately learn the lesson that I was supposed to learn, which was you have to love yourself, you have to focus on your own interests, you have to not worry about anybody else really, just do your thing and stay in integrity with your creativity. And I kind of had this um I really started to go into this like weird depressive state, and I had like a bottom, like I hit rock bottom like 6.5, 7 months ago. And I just kind of was like struggling. My wife, like she's was really, I could tell is like, she's so good to me and stuff, but like she's really being affected by my self-hatred,
Oh,
you
for
know.
sure. That affects
And
everyone around you, man.
yeah, and I was like, dude, nobody, and I realized that I'm like an extremely isolated person, and I had no energy for other people or other things, and I'm like really suffering. So then I went into like 12-step program. I can't say what it is because anonymity is sort of the spiritual cornerstone of the program. But
Mm.
I got deep into EMDR, which is like trauma therapy, and getting into like all kinds of this, basically just going to meetings all the time, learning to care about myself in a way that my parents weren't really capable of caring about me. I'm not trying to shit on them or anything, but they weren't treated right either. So they just modeled their parents, and so it's not like an evil thing that they did or whatever. It was just that they they were playing out their roles and they didn't have the support, and honestly, we kind of live in a golden age of mental health as far as like it being acceptable and stuff. So I'm into it. And so what's funny now is that for this last 6 months is the first time in my life I haven't been like crushingly depressed, which I have always hidden from the public. I always would like, hide it. Like I would never be like, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm upset. Online I would just be like,
You're
I didn't feel like it was very helpful.
not
So
posting Limp Bizkit videos, break stuff, you know?
yeah, just one of those days. But like, but
Uh,
what I realized was that the I was too focused on the outside of myself, and that I had to learn to care about myself and really step in on my own behalf as if I was my own parent and take care of myself and do the emotional shifts that are necessary to be able to show up in the world with energy and intention and presence and love. And I wasn't really ever really capable of that. I mean, I was basically going to become like my parents, like an angry, sort of bitter, disconnected kind of a person.
mm,
Um, and so, yeah, now I'm just like, okay, things are going well. I am taking care of myself. And I mean, a lot of it too is I was functioning on a low level because when you're depressed, you don't take care of yourself.
right. Yeah.
And so, like making appointments to get my teeth, fixed up, or like going to the doctor and like buying healthy food and cooking and like, going to parties and hanging out with people and like being present and, accepting compliments and being sweet and like just being a balanced person and feeling like I have enough in me for myself that I'm giving to myself validation and acceptance and love that I can then sort of like turn around and then, make the world better in a way. So, because before it was like I was just running on fumes because I was so self-neglectful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the story. I don't know. That's my long story about,
Well,
what
dude,
happened.
you're not alone on that, man. I mean, a lot of people felt that. I mean, my depression was a little different. It wasn't after. I did get that as well. Like when things started opening up, I'm like, oh god damn it, I got to deal with traffic again, and
Yeah, it sucks.
so awful. Mine though came mid pandemic, where the beginning I was like you, I was stoked. I'm like, I get to stay home and hang out with my wife, and like I don't really have to do anything because everything's closed, so I can just chill and create and write. And I started doing more podcasts and playing more, like watching things that I have been missing out on, like a movie or something or a video game that I wanted to try. And I got the time to do all of that. So the first year was amazing. like yes, this is great.
Yeah.
But like about a year after, like a year and a half in, like I think it was. I've said the story before on a show, but I was watching a band do a live stream. The band started doing those weird live streams, like in front of no one, just to kind of get something out there. And,
Uh-huh.
and I was watching one of them, and I just started bawling, crying, like, and it wasn't because I was moved by the music or the
Yeah.
performance. It was just more like, this is this is it. Like I don't get to see a live show anymore. Like I missed that energy of being in front of the band and the band kind of like projecting this noise on me, and that really got me. And I just finally I gave up. I stopped cutting my hair. I stopped shaving. I stopped
Wow.
everything. I stopped showering. I just was like walking around chugging vodka, like
Whoa.
like I was like, this is it. It's over. Fuck it. If nothing's happening, then fuck it. And but then when stuff started opening up again, like I got excited for a little bit, and then I got depressed again. Of like, oh fuck, now I got to deal with not with being around people and figuring out how to be a human again, and because I hit that rock bottom during, so now like. How do I get out of it? Like I can't be around other people, but slowly I pushed myself to it. I started seeing a therapist too, and it was. I mean, it. I don't think it's been helping all that much, but I do know that it helps a lot of people. It hasn't been helping me. It has in a way, like I've been giving myself more goals, I guess, and trying to like something that I never had before. Like I had that mentality of work, 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 do stuff, do stuff. Um, but now I started narrowing, like actually writing down goals, and that's due to the therapy. Like he gives me a little bit of a path to go on. It's like I'm expecting instant results from therapy, and I'm not going to get that because it's years of, like you said, neglect from parents. Like, I feel you on the parents. My parents weren't there either, but
Right.
I can actually say some of their stuff was pure evil, though.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my father was, my memory of my dad was getting arrested in front of me. So it's just kind of, not the. I can't let him slide with the whole like, oh, his parent. He's modeling after his parents because his dad wasn't like that. His dad was a fucking family guy, married man with like military career and all that, and then he just kind of he went down the evil path, and then I have spent my whole life trying to not be that. Like in the beginning when I was young, I was stupid because that's all I had to go off of. So I did a couple dumb things in my youth. Many people have. But, as I got older, I made it my priority to not be him. And, like, what do I need to do to get my life in order, do things right? If I got to pay taxes, and fine, let's fucking pay taxes, whatever. Like, I hate taxes, and I hate the fucking income tax system and the Federal Reserve and all that shit. I hate it. I want it to go away just like, most punk rockers do. But,
Oh,
but if I'm going to fucking live here and I don't want to go to jail, I guess I got to do whatever the fuck to get him off my ass.
yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't mind the taxes as long as I think my qualm is like that it doesn't feel like the distribution of taxes is
Oh,
mindful.
sure. Yeah. It's not, your money isn't going to anything good.
Because like I actually, yeah, I want it to go to like help the society I'm a part of so that people can feel benefited and supported so I can live in like a nice society, not one that's like everybody's scared and angry and atomized and separated. But like, like paying taxes, say for like a local school. Like
Oh, yeah.
I don't have kids, but I don't mind paying taxes for schools because I want kids to have education because
Sure.
it reflects the society I want to live in, and so I don't, but
We
I
should be
mean,
able to, like distribute it as we like. You know what I mean? Like there should be maybe a minimal general tax, like something to take care of roads and bullshit that you wouldn't even think about, like, all right, we got to pave the roads and stuff like that. But you should be able to choose, like, I want to give 30% of my tax money to schools or, something like
oh,
that.
that would be kind of cool if you had like a little list of things you wanted it to go to. That would be
Yeah.
like, sometimes they go like if you do an event somewhere and they have like a few charities that you can donate to and you
Yeah.
could choose which one. It would be cool like that. Like, oh, I want this to go to the parks. I want this to go to teachers. I want this to go to, get more dogs for the firemen or whatever. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, man, the therapy stuff. But I think that I had the intention of not being like my parents, and then you don't realize like how embedded a lot of the behaviors and conditioning is. So it takes a long time of being extremely honest with ourselves and really looking at it, a lot of it, because I have friends, I talk to them and like they'll say, "Oh, I'm mad at this person about this thing," but it takes a lot of work to get to like what's underneath you being mad at them. Is it that you feel hurt by them? And then it's like, okay, you're hurt by them, but how much of your communication, how much of clear communication would have helped them understand before they hurt you? It's like if you really break down the way that we interact with people, and then you can find out like, oh, I have to take responsibility for some of my real, non-direct communication, or that I'm afraid of, the truth, or I'm in denial, or I'm a control freak, or, I uh I have low self-esteem and then I act like that. Or if I, you know what I mean? It's like there's
Yeah.
like so many things where you go, okay, what are the motivating factors to the patterns that your behavior is exhibiting? You
Yeah.
know, it's and you just get into that and you look at it and you go, okay, I got to tune this shit up because I'm, annoying everybody and I'm annoying myself. Or like, I'm blaming people for shit and they're just living their lives and nobody can read my mind. So I have to, really, understand like what is going on with me. So, but that's the whole goal. That's the whole point in life is to know yourself.
Yeah.
And the more you know yourself, the more you can learn how to live a life that you like, I think,
Yeah, man.
because there's a lot of self-denial. I feel like I didn't think I was a worthwhile or lovable person for most of my life, so I didn't feel like what who I was naturally was lovable or worth what I naturally gravitated towards. It was like I judged it. I judged it harshly,
Mm.
instead of accepting who I am and stuff. And so now that I'm accepting who I am and I'm in alignment with what my interests are, and I'm just basically just accepting myself. I'm just doing things that are fully in my wheelhouse, who I am, what I like, whatever. And people are clearly more into that.
Yeah, man.
Because it's like you can't really fake the funk, you can't, you gotta like just be you. And I think that like I wanted to be taken seriously as like a gallery artist in the past and all this shit. And it was like, I don't know, there's some, it's like, I look back in the past and like very cringe individual. So I'm glad that I'm here now and that people can see me as who I want to be in the world instead of hiding in the cringe zone.
I'm glad for you too, man. I'm glad that you have gotten to this point because as a fan of your work, like it makes me happy to see you doing more work. So I want to see that. I want to see more productivity and like, I want to see like, all right, cool. You got a movie. That's fucking sick, and it's
Yeah.
not that you've been like not doing stuff. You've obviously, you've been killing it out there with Mastodon and High on Fire and all the wonderful projects you've been a part of. But I feel like you're back on creating something amazing, and this Shrine of Abominations looks amazing, dude. I grew up in that time. We're the similar age. I'm I think a year younger. I'm 81, so
Uh,
but I have all of that's all part of my aesthetic. Like my wife hates the super colorful stuff because she's a little younger than I am.
okay.
So like you're not that she hates your style, but like the anybody that has that kind of 90s kind of colorful, vibrant look, she thinks it's too busy. So
Sure. Hey, it's okay. I
yeah,
respect it.
but
That's
that's all me, dude. Like you should see the shorts I'm wearing right now. They're Brody King shorts, actually, with
Oh, Brody.
yeah. I got those God's hate, and it's just all colors. And she's always like, "Oh God, those shorts." I'm like, "Yep." I bought them because they are gonna annoy you on purpose.
That's awesome. I love Brody King. He's cool as
Yeah,
hell.
dude. How did that? So tell me a little bit about how that connection happened because I saw the
Well,
whole. You had the sign, and
yeah,
I saw the
yeah,
posts.
yeah. He's my friend. I love him, and I'm so excited that he's successful as a wrestler and he's badass. Um, he was at Comic-Con. I met him, and he was in the Toxic Avenger costume.
Oh, nice.
This
Okay.
was before he was like real big. I mean, he was kind of big, he was wrestling, but like he's a beast. He makes
Hmm.
those other fuckers look small in that in there now. And I was like, wow, nice to meet you, Toxie. And he would come to my booth and we'd hang out, talk stuff, whatever. But and then what was funny was somebody I saw him on I Think You Should Leave, an episode of I Think You Should Leave
Yeah.
on Netflix, which is a great TV show. It's hilarious. And I was like, oh damn, Brody's killing it. And then my friend Max made a documentary about a wrestling school and Brody was in it.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
I was like, whoa. this is crazy. And then all of a sudden somebody's like, I went to somebody's house to watch this goddamn all elite wrestling. We had our Oreos and pizza and shit, you know, old school. And then like I was
Nice.
watching it and I was like, oh, who, because I'm a very annoying person. I just ask questions. Like, oh, who's that? Who's this? What's that? Why do they do this? Who are these people? Like, what? And then he goes, oh, that's Brody King. And I was all, what? And I like looked up and I was all, oh my God, Brody. I started laughing. I was all, are you serious? I was all, wait, are these people famous? Is this a thing now?
Oh
You
yeah.
know? And I was like, holy shit, he did it. I can't believe it. I was so I was like, I was just pumped for him.
Hell yeah, man.
And so like so I got tickets. He got me into that last event, and dude, it was so fucking fun, man. I hadn't seen wrestling, dude. The only wrestling I ever saw was live in person was Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake,
Wow.
Sacramento, in what was it, the late 80s or something, 80s or something. But dude, the British Bulldog was there.
Nice.
The Destroyer, dude. Oh man, I think even freaking Hillbilly Jim was in there. Fucking Brutus the Barber Beefcake,
Fuck
dude. It
yeah.
was sick. Oh man, and I was like, it was the coolest thing that ever happened to me, man. Of course, Hulk Hogan won, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
"He's a real man." I was like, this is the fucking best day of my life, because I really liked wrestling. I remember there's the cartoon. Um uh Dude, I met Honky Tonk Man at a Comic-Con one time. It was amazing. I met Jake the Snake.
He's still rocking that haircut. It's
Jake
amazing.
the Snake's like, yeah, his mullet.
No. Honky tonk man with the pompadour and shit. Like
Yeah, it's a
it's
little
thinning
thin.
out. It's a little, it's a
It's a
little
thin
thin.
one. It's a thinky tonk. Thin, yeah, the honky tonk thin. The mini thins. But you know what? Yeah, what's funny is I always I go down these YouTube rabbit holes of listening to wrestlers talk about other wrestlers
Mm.
because it's really fascinating. And there was a really funny one that I found of Honky Tonk Man, and he's he's the best because he's actually very clear, and he was around like a long time.
Yeah.
But he goes, I'll tell you what, man. He's like, he's like, these new wrestlers though. He's all back in my day. He's like, I could never wrestle now. He's like, uh, all of them are in shape. All of them are looking good, man. And gone are the days of the guy with the big beer belly and the big old and the buggy whip arms. Them little skinny buggy whip arms, man. The big beer belly, man. That's gone, man. Those days are over.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, dude, I forgot. He's all, yeah, the ugly. He's all, they were ugly. Everybody hated them.
Yep.
Everybody hated him. He's like, that was me, and I would do that too. And I was that guy. And I was like, holy shit, this
Yeah.
guy, this rocks. Like talking about like, and what's funny is you immediately can picture the wrestler out of shape, skinny ass arms, ugly hair, curly pubes, hair, fucking beer belly, looks like
Yeah.
dog shit. And then the other guy is this like handsome, like buff dude or a badass dude, and he's just whooping his ass. And you're just like, and those days are done. Those days are done. There's like no more ugly, fat, buggy whip arm dudes.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you got to watch like some local stuff if you want to find that.
I like that local shit.
Dude, I got to tell you, man, like there was a point in talking about wrestling and mental health. There was a point in my life, and I have to give credit to the wife because I was talking shit about her earlier, not really, but she allowed me to finally just accept the things that I enjoyed that I used to keep to myself because I thought, oh, I don't want to be a nerd, or oh, I don't want
You
to,
don't want to be judged.
yeah, I don't want to be judged about it. And like, I remembered like, fuck, man, when I was a kid, I loved wrestling. So I'm gonna, now as an adult, that she's like, just be who you are and what you're into. I'm like, okay. I just lean into it because people give me shit like, oh, you're into wrestling, that shit's fake. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. So is Game of Thrones. Like, what are you talking about? Where are the dragons? Like, what are you talking about?
Dude, wrestling is like really interesting performance art, actually. It's
Yeah.
like it's very, yeah, it's like soap opera shit, it's
Oh yeah.
but it is totally performance art.
Yeah,
And there's
it's athletic. There's acting involved. There's
yeah,
memorizing things that you want to do and lines, and you think of something cool you want to say. You got to remember to say it, and make sure you time it right.
well, the other thing is like I don't know if like people say it's fake, but I think that a lot of it is like improv.
It is. So the only aspect of it that's fake is the
They're not
ending.
really hurting each other super bad all the time.
Well, right, yeah, they're not trying to kill each other. They're still hurting each other because that
I
stuff
heard them
doesn't.
slaps, dude. I
Yeah, that
tell
doesn't
you,
feel good.
get slapped in the chest.
Oh yeah, especially Brody. Brody's known for those big old chops.
Dude,
But
he's so cool.
yeah, but like the only thing that's fake in that sense is that it's predetermined who's going to win the match. That's all. Everything in between is a lot of improv. It's a lot of calling it in the ring, a lot of like making sure like okay, the crowd is for some reason the crowd is cheering this guy a lot more than me and they're supposed to be cheering me, but they're cheering that guy, so fuck it. Let's make that guy look good. So you got to like on the spot like, "All right, hey man, throw me over
Who
here."
was the okay? Hulk Hogan was the champion for a long time, but like who finally beat him?
Ooh. I don't.
I really
It
like
was either
Macho.
Macho Man, or
Was it
Ultimate Warrior. One of those guys.
Ultimate Warrior, dude? What was funny is watching. He is people do not remember him fondly.
Well,
Oh,
his personal life was awful. He was
they're
not a
like
good human.
yeah. Well, I think that Macho Man was like kind of questionable too, like locking Elizabeth
Oh,
and
I mean, he used to slap her on TV. There's video. You could watch those pay-per-views. He would slap the shit out of her in front of
that's
everybody.
dude, that's terrible. But
I
like,
know.
what was it one time that like I was watching somebody and they're like, dude, the Ultimate Warrior could have been, you know, bigger than Hulk Hogan. Like he could have taken over for Hulk Hogan. Like, but they were like, he was mentally fried or something,
Well, yeah, he was mentally fried, and he wasn't a good wrestler. He had like two moves. You
They
know,
said he was like a terrible wrestler. He was
yeah, he
just
had the
rough.
physique, but like,
And he would run down and like jump around and shit and just be out of breath before he would even wrestle. But like they're also making fun of him. They're like, dude, have you ever seen a promo that he did? He's like,
oh,
oh, yeah.
he's talking about outer space and like the
Yeah,
warriors in space. Like, what the?
I like Macho Man though. He's like Mean Gene Okerlund said, Macho Man, I heard you were talking to a psychiatrist. He's all, oh yeah, Mean Gene. She said I had OCD. She said I was one cool dude.
That's fucking hilarious, you know?
That's dude. That's the best.
Yeah, it's the
That is
best.
the best. And I feel like Macho Man was really, in my opinion, the best. What do they call that? Shoot. He was his shoots or his kayfabe or whatever. His shit
His
was the
gimmick,
best.
his gimmick, his gimmick.
His gimmick. He's like, oh yeah, Mean Gene.
Dude, he was my guy more than Hulk. Hulk was never my guy. Hulk was, the whole eat your vitamins and drink your milk and say your prayers. Like I wasn't into that shit. I was a little devil kid. So Macho Man was the one that like really, really got to me.
Looking around. Oh, oh yeah, looking around. I tell you, like, yeah, I like it because it's like kind of like a bizarre shaman figure, like a drugged out dude who's like seeing and feeling things that you couldn't imagine,
He was doing
and
a lot with his fingers. He had tassels and shit. Like, ooh.
he's like, oh, 'cause I'm gonna get you, Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna twist your skull into a blob of jelly bean goo. Yeah, dude, I want to be a wrestler so I could say that shit. I would love to just like write,
For wrestling.
yeah, write for that. That would rock, dude.
Yeah, man. I wanted to be a wrestler when I was younger. I actually when I was in high school, I did wrestling, and I tried to do a little bit in college, but I wasn't very, I wasn't very coordinated. I was strong. I could pick people up and throw them around,
Okay.
but I couldn't like do any fancy moves. So I ended up getting hurt all the time, and then
Oh
eventually,
no.
yeah, I ended up getting in a bad car accident. I kind of broke my collarbone, a bunch of shit, and I was just like, well. I'm not meant to I'm not meant to do that.
What was your wrestling name?
Oh, profeta falso. I was a luchador.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the false prophet. That's what it translated to.
Oh, did you have like a creepy mask and stuff?
I do. I have it somewhere. It's somewhere in a box somewhere.
I like La Parca. I
Oh,
like
he's cool. Yeah.
Psychosis. I like them. Yeah, I
Hell
thought
yeah, man.
that was the Attitude Era.
I'm excited because WrestleMania is coming to LA next week. I'm here, and it's the first. I've never been to a WrestleMania. I know at this point it's not the same as it was back when I was younger, but it's still going to be a fun time. I think to go
Roman
to.
Reigns, is he the champ?
He's the champ, and he's going up against Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes kid.
Oh,
I was a
interesting.
big Dusty Rhodes guy growing up too. He had
Yeah.
there was a T-shirt of his that it was a cross-promoted T-shirt of Dusty Rhodes with like a pain pill company, like a Tylenol thing, not Tylenol, but like a ibuprofen or whatever it was,
Advil.
Advil, one of those. And but the shirt said, "I can tell you about pain." And I was like,
Wow.
"That's such a badass shirt." Fuck. Like,
Wow,
I
that's
need.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I
Dude, that's awesome.
so I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see WrestleMania here next week. And also, I not to like self promote, but I have the other show that I do at the Comedy Store. It's called Comedy Store Wrestling, and we're doing a bunch of stuff with WWE for that. So I'm just, it's going to be
Wow, you are? That's
yeah,
exciting, bro. I'm
yeah,
happy
dude.
for you. That's so exciting.
I saw with my own eyes merchandise that they designed at WWE with my logo on it, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna do cross promotion shirt." I'm like,
Dude,
"Okay,
I'm
cool."
so excited for you. I'm really happy for the little boy inside of you, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm just look. I think originally the idea the reason I brought it all up, it was just kind of, it's important for you to just find the things that you enjoyed when you were young and just go with it. Don't like you said, don't let it be molded by someone else's opinion or someone else's judgment or like, oh, what are they going to think about this? Like, fuck it, man. If that's what you like, go for it. Go do
Go
it.
deep, go deep into your joy,
Yeah, dude.
into your bliss, what makes you really, really happy, and then you will find that there is an endless amount of inspiration and places to explore there if you just, let yourself be who you are. And it's kind of like the greatest act of all time that you could commit to is, loving yourself and being okay about it, because the judgments of the world will always be there, but you can't control those things. But you can control yourself, and you can control the stuff that you do. So
Hmm.
you might as well just jump in with both feet and fucking pile drive your bros at the backyard wrestling match.
Fuck yeah,
I'll
dude.
see. Wrap some barbed wire around your head.
I know I couldn't get into the deathmatch stuff, dude. It's too much, dude. But
I
no,
can't.
like also surround yourself with make sure if you have friends, a friends circle, make sure those people are there for you too, man. Because sometimes we cling on to relationships with friends that they're from like, oh, I knew him from high school, or oh, I knew him from when I was a kid, but they're like awful people, or like they just always judge what you're doing or whatever it is. Like it's okay to let go of those relationships. They,
Yes,
they,
in
they don't
fact,
they don't need to be in your life.
you're supposed to get rid of them. They fucking suck.
Yeah, man.
You want people that are on your team.
That's right. That's right.
On your team. So wait, so you do a wrestling thing at the comedy shop. Wait, what is
The
it? The
Comedy
comedy
Store in Hollywood.
the comedy store, the most legendary comedy store of all time.
Yes, sir.
Hey, one time I met you want to know something funny? I never told anybody this, but I met Pauly Shore for like 1 second one time. And it was pretty funny, but he I was in Sacramento and he went to the Crest Theater because he was friends with people that own the Crest.
Hmm.
I went there to hand out flyers for my band because I was like, hey, everybody come see my band play, my rock and roll, my thrash metal band. And I saw I saw Pauly Shore and I was all, hey, Pauly. I went to try to give him a flyer. I was like, hey, Pauly, here's a flyer. My band's playing. And he's all, like that. He like, he like,
Ew.
he like walked by.
How
Hold
I
up.
mean, how old was he? Well, how old was this? Like when
He
he
was, I mean, this was early 2000, I think, but he's all,
he was probably
that.
coked out of his mind.
Well, I thought it was a very appropriate response, and I was
True.
laughing. I didn't care. I thought it was funny as shit.
Dude, I used to love Paulie growing up too, like Encino Man and all those movies growing up. And
Yeah,
now,
Cresters.
yeah, dude. And now I'm there. I'm at the store weekly to do this show, and he like walks in every once in a while because his family owns that place.
Yeah, his mom is like maybe the most integral part of comedy history in Los Angeles. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah, so
uh,
it's just wild to be like talking about Roman Reigns, and then Paulie walks off and like tries to pinch my nipple or something on the way out.
hey, wait. So let me ask you. So this is at the Comedy Store, and it's about wrestling.
Yeah,
And it's like every week, like a Monday or a Sunday or something.
every Monday we put out a new episode, and sometimes it's just me and Earl Skakel, who's my co-host, talking. But sometimes we have wrestlers come in and just hang out and do an interview or play games with them or something. But yeah,
I should tell Brody King to go be on that show.
oh, I know Brody. He knows. I've
Oh,
asked
you
him.
already know him. Oh, I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, yeah,
I tried to be a big dog. For
yeah.
that was funny.
No, I've known Brody for a while, dude. I used to follow him out because he used to wrestle out here locally at PCW Ultra and PWG and stuff. So I met him through that years ago, and we're trying to coordinate. He's going to be on eventually whenever he's has the time. But that's the other thing; these people don't understand their schedule. They're so busy. They're flying constantly. It's traveling to do shows here. I wrestle here, and then they do independent shows too. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
But anyway, let's go back real quick to your Kickstarter.
Oh,
Since we're
yes.
going to wrap
Okay,
up, we're an hour in. So tell people where. I mean, how are you done with the movie, or are you still working on it?
Okay, here's the deal. The movie is being edited in VFX right now. It's going to be about 30 minutes to 40 minutes for the first chapter. And then we're filming a few more scenes, but my friend Kevin is doing the editing and getting it all ready. And then I am talking to some producers to get a budget together to pitch to Screambox, the horror streaming service, because they actually want to extend it to an 80-minute long film and do a theatrical.
Yeah.
Stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's on Kickstarter for the next couple days until March 30th. March 30th is the last day, and so it'd be cool. I mean, I made prints and toys and shirts and Blu-rays and all this shit that
I need to go get that foil print.
I'm telling you, buddy,
I need
it's
to
a
go
good
get that
one.
foil print. I need to get
24
one.
by 36 inches. You may be nice
Hell yeah.
little spot up on the wall. So yeah, man, that's my news.
Fuck yeah, dude! I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna go get that foil print right now. So for
Thanks.
people that want to go get one and support the project, what is at
Shrine of Abominations on Kickstarter.
Yeah, Shrine of Abominations on Kickstarter, or you can go to theartofskinner.com/shrine-of-abominations. You can also get it there. That's the website. Or I'm sure if you just go to theartofskinner.com, you could just click on it, right?
Yeah, or just Instagram.
Or Instagram by link in the bio, bro.
Link in my bio. It's a link in my bio.
I think about that sometimes. Like, I wonder how these promos would go for these guys back then, but like with the technology that we have now. Like, imagine Macho Man with a TikTok. Woo, boy.
Dude, Macho Man's rap album is insanely good.
It's coming out for Record Store Day this year on April 22nd on vinyl. I'm buying it.
Dude, it's amazing. He's fucking dude, his rap, like it's like when you listen to it, you go, oh, this is gonna suck or be a joke, but it's like actually insanely good. I think.
It's great. It's great. I'm stoked. I can't believe they're doing that for Record Store Day, but I'm buying one of those for sure.
Hell yeah, brother.
But bro, for people that are watching and listening, please follow at The Art of Skinner. You have seen his work. I promise you, if you're watching this show, you've seen his work before. That's all I'm saying. And support the Kickstarter. The movie looks incredible. There's a little, trailer on the page so you can see what he's working on. And dude, I'm very stoked, and I want to thank you for coming back on the show. Hopefully we can hang out soon. You're still in Northern California?
I'm in Oakland, but I'll come down and see you.
Dude, come down for WrestleMania weekend. It's going to be wild.
Okay, that'd be fun.
That's all I'm saying. If you show up to the Comedy Store, I'll walk you in the building.
Oh, I like that. I like that VIP shit.
Yes, sir.
A little hayseed like me likes to get VIP.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks, bro.
Thank you again, man. Great conversation. We'll talk soon, brother.
All right, man.
Later.